Hi everyone, this is Kelly from The Truth in Story. This is going to be a relatively quick little video. And this is a video that I have up, but you know, I have a lot of Lenormand and Kipper readings and things up on the channel, but they start to get lost over time because I have a lot of videos, and so they can start to get lost in the pile, so to speak. And so, because tonight I'm just particularly wore down, I thought I wouldn't struggle too hard and just do a quick reading that's actually quite popular. I found it in a Kipper, in the German original, I think it was in the original Kipper, the German guidebook. I went through with Google Translated and translated I could see the the layout of the reading, and I wanted to know what it was, so I had done translated it so I could try to figure it out, and I think they called it the airstrip. I call it, in my shop, it's called the Get There reading, because it's like, okay, what you do is you literally find yourself. So in my deck, of course, as I've explained, number 28 is always yourself, no matter what your gender is. So you place the card that represents yourself, because I use this for, I don't really very often use it with tarot. Generally Kipper, Lenormand, or Chronicles of Destiny. I've also done it beautifully with, it really works well with Oracle of Reflections. I really like it with this one. I've actually used this one with clients in this particular spread, because this is one of those spreads that's actually been quite popular in my shop. You just never know. I'm one of those people that likes to try different things. Just try a new spread, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Every so often I'll go in and clean house and then be able to try other things. And this is one of those ones that really stuck. People quite like those. So what you do is you pick the card that reflects you, which in this case is 28. For you, you'd find the man or the woman card if you had a traditional Lenormand deck. Again, you can do this with a lot of different decks, even with tarot. Just find what is the card that represents you. And then you find a card representing what it is you're looking for. Are you looking for a committed relationship, right? Are you looking to get some positive change and movement in your life? Are you looking for success? Are you trying to find your way to success? Are you trying to tap into, your inner energies and tap into that sort of mystical, magical, high priestessy energy of the moon card? Are you trying to get a new job? For German tradition, that's the anchor. I believe the French tradition is the fox. Some people also use the moon sometimes, so there's different ones. For me, it's the anchor. Are you trying to get to university or some kind of new study program? Are you trying to find friends, right? You're just trying to find happiness, and you need to see what is the way to happiness. Let's do that one. What's the way to happiness? Where's the what do I need to know about finding the way to happiness, right? Lasting joy. So what you do is you pull the card, and again, I have done this before. I have videos on this. I don't know if I've done it using Lenormand or not, but this is Kelly just taking an easy night and just sitting across. You just can imagine you're having some tea, I'm having some tea, and we're just kind of chit-chatting about one of the spreads that we like to do. So that's about all my brain has left for tonight. I'm so sorry. And so what you do with this one is you lay 7 cards down. You never read, the rule is you do not lay more than 7. You read the first 3, and then you continue to turn over cards, reading in a linear fashion. We're not jumping around. We're reading it like a sentence. And until you feel like you've had your question answered, no more than 7. Now, I am one of these people that always wants to see all 7 cards. But if I do feel as if the question's been answered before that, I do kind of indicate it. I'll show you in a second. So we're looking to see, what do I need to know tonight about finding some happiness? Lasting, confident happiness. So you just shuffle, 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 shuffling. And this one I really probably would split on. I don't generally split a lot with Lenormand because I'm either doing a grand tableau, I shuffle till I'm ready to stop, and then I start laying down, which I really probably would do that in this instance as well. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right for me to split with Lenormand, only because of the way that I'm generally finding cards is through significators. So then you go ahead and turn over the first 3 cards, right? And we have those, so that's 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So we look to ourselves to here, and because I'm personally not looking for any kind of job or specific information, I'm going to read this a lot more general. And I'm going to say, okay, the anchor is about stability, right? Stability through painful situations, but they're going to reap harvest. So I need to find some stability, even though there's some difficult situations. The difficult situations are going to reap. There's a painful situation. It's going to reap harvest. What's it going to reap? It's going to reap some resources. That could be finances. That could be emotional resources. That could be energetic resources. Right now I need the energetic resources. So I'm needing to anchor in a difficult situation. It's going to reap its benefits. And I really need to find some energetic resource, because this is a journey, and I need to enjoy the journey that I'm on, and it's going to bring balance and harmony. I'm moving towards happiness here, but I've got to kind of balance things out. I've got to use those resources, those energetic resources, so that I can go the distance, right? Make sure that I'm finding some balance and harmony. Make sure that I'm connecting with the people that help me to get through difficult situations, because all things will come to an end, and will end in happiness. And this is what it looks like when Kelly is tapped out and she still tries to read. So truthfully, this is what I will do, is when I feel like the question has been answered, right? This is a journey. I need to find balance and harmony, and I need to connect to people. So let's say I felt like that was the end, because that probably was the end. I've got this message here. I need to stabilize, understand that the difficult times is going to reap harvest. It's going to reap benefits. It's going to reap abundance, because of the fish card here. This is a journey. It's going to take a little while, so I need to make sure I'm maintaining balance and harmony through the situation, and make sure that I'm connecting to the people that I can, that are going to be helpful. And that's going to be part of finding my happiness. Is even, I tend to be a person that if I'm struggling for some reason, if I'm just wore down, if I'm just not at my tip-top shape, I tend to retreat. I'm a hermit. So if things are a little bit difficult for me, I tend to go quiet. I tend to go inward. But it's not generally a good thing and there's nothing wrong with doing that. There's nothing wrong with needing, sorry, I'm kind of coming down with a cold, and so that's not helping. My instinct is okay to retreat and gain sort of the space that we need, take a breath and all that kind of stuff. But I tend to do it too far. And whereas if I just reach out to people and continue to connect with people, that actually can help me through a trying, difficult times. Things that are just, whatever it is that I'm dealing with, it can be helpful to me. to connect with other people. So I might feel like that's done. And you really do have to listen to yourself, because like me, I like to see all the cards, and you're really supposed to, in this one, read until you're done, but no more than 7 cards. So I might have kind of felt it right here, because balance and harmony is a really big key, kind of a keyword for me. So what I might do then, so let's say I kind of thought, okay, I really feel like this is it. So then I kind of drop it down, and then I'll continue. Very often when I do this, these don't end up just being garbled. They're not a message, right? They're not really anything there pertinent for me. But I always have to peek. It's just how I am. But on this one, you know, probably there's where I should have stopped, right? Because this doesn't actually make a lot of sense here, because I'm trying to find, what's the answer to finding happiness? Well, all of this stuff, find balance and stability and make sure I keep connecting to people. Bam. That really is the answer for me, and that's really pertinent to me. That's really something that is very normal for something like that to come up for me, and so I should have stopped there, and you just leave that covered. Now you can look at it, obviously, but it is important, because I have found with this reading very often that if I go farther than where I feel like, and sometimes it's literally the first 3 cards and you're like, yeah, that's exactly what I needed to hear, and it's kind of frustrating, because you're like, oh, but what about these other ones? But no, it's an interesting exercise in kind of listening to your instincts to when you have the message, and I quite enjoy it. So I encourage you to give this a try. Again, I have put this up, and I kind of feel like I put it up not too long ago. So if that's the case, I do apologize. I did not go on my channel to check. I know I did it a long time ago, and I kind of feel like I just recently did this. But if so, I apologize. Just and beg grace, beg a little bit of grace. So yeah. But what I would do is I really encourage you to try this one. It has 2 things that it can help for in terms of June or March. So let's try to turn this around so that even if I did just recently do this, it will still have some some benefit. But one of the things in June and March that this can be helpful for is it's helping you just to read a linear line, right? You just bam, 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 bam. So that's one thing, is just practicing just reading straight across in almost like a sentence. And number 2, it is asking you, like I said, to really think about when you've heard the pertinent information. You've heard what you need to hear. Yeah, I got you. I hear you, Lenormand. I get your message, right? So let's try it. We'll just try it with another deck. And this, like I said, this works with a lot of different systems. Here, let's try my new deck. I know. Keith, I saw you. You're like, don't make me jealous. I understand. I understand your pain, but I'm going to use this one. So, well, here, first we need to pick. So on this one, I'm going to, and this, you know, can obviously this take a little bit of time because this has got a few more cards in it. Okay, this is actually the next day. My video cut out last night, and I was kind of done last night, and I just couldn't go back in and fix it and redo it. So here I am. We're going to kind of have a skipped day yesterday, but that is okay. I've given myself permission for that to be okay. So I was in the middle of, well, I actually did a reading for somebody who was, the question that comes up a lot is, people are looking for relationships and whether relationships are going to come their way. And I don't even remember all of what I said last night, but I think that this is one of those questions that we have to have grace for, because I do think that sometimes I hear comments by readers that, kind of maybe poo-poo the will I find love types of questions. But I think that they're just as relevant as any other question for tarot or Lenormand. Many human beings, not all, but many human beings are very, we are people who like to connect. We want to connect. We want to connect to another human being. We want another human being to be part of our lives. And that's an important thing for us. And it can be a longing for some people. And that is something that is very important. That is something to hold space for. And while you can discuss all of the different ways in which you make your life fulfilling as it is now, it doesn't take away that is a pertinent and relevant question. So anyways, so that's what this question is going to be about. So here's a person, and here is that kind of the love card, right? The heart card of Lenormand. Now, I have not removed the extra cards from this deck, so you may see some ones that are more from like the Gypsy style and Kipper style, but they all work the same as Lenormand, so it'd be okay. It'd be okay. So again, you just kind of shuffling until you're ready, and then this is just how I do it. I do lay the first 3 over, because those are ones you always read with this reading. So here we have something new coming, right? Something new and happiness. And what's interesting is I talked about before with the happiness cards, this is a new thing that's coming to you, right? Somebody sends you a bouquet of flowers. You can buy your own flowers. I do recommend those kinds of things. But in general, it's something that's being sent to you, something that is coming to you. And we do have the book card here, which is for knowledge. There's some knowledge here. See right there, that tells me, like, this is great, because right away I've kind of answered that question that, yeah, something is going to be coming your way, right? I'm going to go ahead and lay these down, because I always do. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, right away, in some ways, we've answered the question: is there love on the horizon? Am I going to meet somebody? Those types of questions, right? Right away, you do have that answer of, yeah, something new's coming your way. There's a gift coming towards you. So you have those certainly potentials. And again, I don't believe in a fixed future. So how you approach reading future casting kind of questions, that's I guess it's a topic for another day. I don't personally believe in a fixed future, so we can look at potentials. We can look at energy as it is right now and the potentials that are there for something to occur. But our choices and decisions, as well as other people's choices and decisions, can shift and change the future from my perspective. But the potential is there, and it's there right at the very beginning, so that's really positive to see. But here we have the knowledge card. So this can be about secrets, but it's also about learning and knowledge. So that right away tells me, okay, but I want to know what are we going to learn here? Like, I need more of that, because we don't read Lenormand by itself, so I feel like these two go together and we're missing something. So I would definitely be turning the next. So there's knowledge to be gained from this period of stepped back. So if this person is right now in a period in which they are not obviously, or they wouldn't be asking the question if somebody was coming, right? But this is to say that there is something to be learned from the stage that they're in right now. And I'm a big proponent of being where you are, living where you are, especially in relationship questions. My always go to is that, we need to live our most fulfilling lives as it is right now, ourselves, if that's the case, and only in doing that are we going to be the best possible person for a prospective relationship, and B, come into interaction perhaps with people that might be prospective people. But we have to be living our most fulfilled and find that within ourselves, because I don't believe that anybody's responsible for our happiness but ourselves. So if we're looking for somebody to make us happy, that's never going to end well. And so I do believe that being the most fulfilled you can here and now, as you are, as things stand, is always the best step to move you in that right direction. So there's something during this period of which not being with somebody, that there is something to be learned. There's some perspectives to be gained. There is, it's not necessarily there's a reason for everything always the way that it is. I don't know whether we believe that or not. But regardless, there's something to be gained and learned from in every situation. And right now, there actually is something to be learned in this kind of being stepped back from the whole relationship field. So this could be left right here. Now, so this is a good example. we've answered the question that the potential is there. Clearly, we can see a potential if we're looking into the potentiality of things coming to fruition. And we also see that there's a reason for things being where they are. Do the work, gain the perspective, gain the knowledge that you need. And so we kind of have a message there that's done. So what I'll sometimes do is just drop this down or up, either way, and just kind of tell myself, because I have to look. It's just, it's who I am. I have to peek, but I'm telling myself that this is probably the end of the answer, and then maybe this will be relevant. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just kind of garble after this, because the whole point of this is learning when to stop, right? We're learning when to know what your answer is over. And so I guess I give a nod to that by dropping it down and kind of saying, here's the answer, but I'm going to peek out anyways, right? So then I'm just going to lay the other three over, because I do kind of feel like the answer's there. So here we have the Bird card, which is about communication. It's also about anxiety. And then we have the Whip card, or the Broom card, which is also about, it can be repetitive, but it can also be kind of stuck in a cycle that's not really positive. You kind of get stuck in this back and forth motion, and you get stuck there. It can also just be cleaning up, right? So you could even have the idea that there's something that's left to be done. Is there's some anxiety over relationships, perhaps over past relationships, but there's a degree of mental chatter and anxiety that may need to be cleaned up. That's what I'm getting right now, is clean up the anxiety. Like, this is your job right now, is to kind of deal with things now and kind of get a handle on those things before moving on, because once that knowledge is gained and you kind of learn what you're going to do, once you've kind of cleaned up some of the mental chatter and put yourself in a better position, as I was talking about, then we have the Rose card. Well, I don't even know if it's called the Rose card. I think it's called the Rose card. Something like that. But it's that beginning when you hand somebody a flower, right? It's that very beginning when we're trying to be charming and we're getting those first hints of love that are coming from somebody, or at least that first hints of attraction. So, but we kind of see that there's some work there that needs to be done. So in a way, this does kind of build off of this. Maybe some of the knowledge learned is there's some anxiety issues that need to be dealt with. Anxiety of the head often relates to internal anxieties and things that might need some work on. There may be some internal work that needs to be done before you can be the best partner, because we're not just looking for, we shouldn't just be looking for relationships to fulfill us, right? Because we're half of that equation. We want to be the best person that we can be in order to fulfill to be part of somebody else's fulfillment, right? Because we don't want to be entirely in charge of their happiness, and we don't want somebody else to be in charge of our happiness either. But we want to be in the best place we can be, and so we almost can see, well, what we need to learn now is do some inner work and deal with maybe some anxiety issues, and that's going to open the door to those kind of beginnings. So definitely having this at the end, and definitely this having these at the beginning, give that potentiality as being there. But if you think about it, this is great extra information, but this did pretty much answer that there's still some lessons to be learned. There's still some things to deal with. This does give us some more info. It's not always that way. Sometimes this literally, to me, ends up looking like garble because the message was done. But it's just in my nature that I tend to peek here anyways. And I'm okay with, once I've dropped that down, I've said to myself, there's the message. And so if I look at this and it looks like garble, then I simply say, yeah, shouldn't have looked. That has, that answer's here. And so bam. But sometimes you can garner some more information. So that is again, another example of what is, I think, originally, when I Google translated it, I think it would be landing strip or airstrip reading. I call it, in my shop, I call it the get there reading, because you're here and you're trying to get there, right? So this is just a little bit of look at that, and give it a try. Like I don't even know, but like I think I said yesterday, This is great for reading linearly, right? And building sets and things. And it's also really great for really paying attention to your intuition to when you have the answer. So I quite like and I know that I'm counterintuitively saying that because I do peek, but I do acknowledge when I feel like the answer's there. And I think it's a really good exercise. So I hope that you've enjoyed this, and I wish you guys all a wonderful day.